Welcome to another edition of Community Conversations. I'm Laura Wagoner, your host. In my community affairs role at Villanova University, I've met many exceptional people doing great work, from university professors and leaders of service organizations to law enforcement officials and township commissioners. The goal of this program is to provide you, the viewers, a monthly glimpse of the people making headlines at Villanova and across the township. Today I'll introduce you to someone that plays an instrumental role in helping make Radnor Township and the surrounding community the special place that it is. Tammy Cohen of the Radnor Township Parks and Recreation Department. Tammy serves as the Director of Recreation and Community Programming and has been with the department since 1999, where she previously held the role of Program Coordinator. Tammy has spent her entire career dedicated to the residents of Radnor Township, working to improve the quality of life and services they take pride in and enjoy. Tammy has her Master's of Education in Sports and Recreation Management from Temple University and a BA in Psychology from Rosemont College. While at Temple University, Tammy earned the School of Tourism and Hospitality's Management Ed Snyder Sports Leadership and Excellence Award for accomplishments in both the classroom and in the community. Tammy, welcome. Thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
So I know I gave a brief description of your background. Can you give us a little more detail on how you ended up in Radnor Township?
Sure. Well, I originally came out here to go to Rosemont College, which was where I did my undergraduate work, and kind of stayed in the area and gravitated towards the sports and recreation industry, and basically landed in Radnor Township early on in my career and after I had graduated. So it was something, and just, being out here and part of the area, and an opportunity came along at Radnor Township was something that enticed me, and I was very fortunate enough to be able to be a strong candidate for the role there. So something I've been happy to be a part of and be a part of the development of a lot of recreational programming that started during my tenure.
Wow, so over 20 years here, almost.
Yes, amazingly.
Yeah. That's incredible. You don't look old enough for that.
I don't know.
So what exactly does your role entail in Parks and Rec?
Sure. So on a daily basis, some of the core things that I'm part of is developing a lot of the recreational programming, or things I've developed over my career. Recreational programming, everything from, different sports and activities. We've done different genres of things, from theater to wizarding camps to basketball. There's really an array, an assortment of things that spans generations as well, not just things that are geared towards youth, children, teens, but also a lot of programming that's available for adults too. So that's a big part of what we do, and has been a vital backbone over the years since I started. In about the last 10 to 15 years, the community events became a much greater staple and new backbone of the department for the things that we do throughout the course of the year. Roughly, our department is running about 15 to 20 community events that are available for the residents, something that they've embraced thoroughly over the years, and has been a new niche for us. Another big part of the things that we do is we're involved in a lot of the operations that happen at the almost 30 parks and recreation facilities that are located throughout the township.
30?
There's a lot,
that is a lot.
Which includes Radnor Skate Park, Radnor Activity Center at Sulpizio Gymnasium, and of course the park system and the trails. So we work very closely with the Public Works Department, who is in charge of the daily maintenance that happens at all of those facilities, but we interact very closely with the Parks Department in making sure that projects are taking place, on a daily basis, things are being addressed, safety, maintenance, things of that nature. And then I work strongly and closely with the Radnor Township Parks and Recreation Board and the commissioners in addressing the various capital projects with regards to all of those facilities. So on a regular basis, there are things that need to be replaced, everything from, trail surfaces to playgrounds, being repaired and replaced, to comprehensive projects that take place within our parks where, we have vast improvements that occur. So there's a lot of things that happen on a daily basis,
Sounds
of course,
like
within that, and, and then working closely with a lot of the community organizations, the institutions, and a lot of the residents, of course, and the things that go on, and then interfacing with the vast network of sports community users of our parks and fields takes up a lot of what we do as well.
Wow. That's incredible. So Villanova University and Radnor Township obviously collaborate on many different events. We've done the Radnor Run, the Stravaganza, Wheels of Wayne, most recently the Daddy-Daughter Dance. Can you give us background on how the Township began partnering with the university on these events and sort of how they've gone through the past?
Sure, absolutely. So the relationship with regards to the Radnor Run, which is an event that has been around for about nearing 40 years,
wow.
Is a relationship that actually I can't take credit for. It started before my time. And it's an event that really relies heavily on the students, specifically the student government organization of Villanova University, where they serve as course marshals along our course. The event can't take place without them. They are vital to the safety and the welfare of that event, because the run takes part on roads throughout the township. Course marshals are so vital to helping control traffic, helping alert the runners to where they need to go. So that is a relationship that started a very long time ago, and under a different leadership, of course, and from where we are today. But has been something that has grown and something that the students have remained part of over the years.
Even through a torrential downpour this past year.
Absolutely. And one year we actually had a transition too, where it was hubbed at the Willows versus at the Township building where the start and finish is today. So there have been a lot of rolling with the tide over the years.
Sure.
I think one year we had a hurricane coming in the day of the event as well.
And it's rain
about
or shine.
10 years ago. It is,
yeah.
But that's something we try to use our best judgment on to make sure that everybody's safe. And I think one year we actually did have to cancel or postpone because we had a blizzard the day before the event. So there've been a lot of dynamics, but some of the relationships developed under our previous township manager, where we started to collaborate a lot more as a township and have more of that ongoing face-to-face interaction. And that's where a lot of the events, I'll say within the last decade, have blossomed, with regards to the spring extravaganza, which we had started collaborating on in 2014. We also did something called the Truck Zoo in downtown Wayne, which existed for 3 years from 2013 to 2015. Over those years, we were maintaining the Radnor Run relationship, which goes on through today. And there were also times when our youth basketball program utilized the pavilion when we were running youth basketball to use the pavilion to showcase their championship games, which was phenomenal. So there've really been a lot of great things that have happened, and a lot of great people have come together to make those happen.
So when you do coordinate events, you coordinate with our staff, our students, faculty, and what type of, how does that work? Is it students running logistics, or they're reporting to you? What's the breakdown of roles there?
So it's varied by event. So when we did the Truck Zoo event, Father Peter had participated in the event. He came, he speaks. So the mission of the event was surrounded by education. We had different trucks and vehicles that came out from different areas within the community. So it was a hands-on event for the kids to come out and learn about those vehicles and how they're utilized and how they benefit the community. So it really was offered in the spirit of education. So we worked with, Chris Kowalski in the Office of Government Affairs, and like I'd mentioned, Father Peter. So, that was an event where it kind of focused on really promoting the university, the synergies that exist, and again, the spirit of education, between the institutions. It was also a partnership event that we did with the Radnor Memorial Library too.
Okay.
So there's really multiple layers that exist with regards to Spring Extravaganza, which is in its 10th year this year, 7 years of which have been working with Villanova, working with your staff, your stadium operations group, your athletic operations groups and leaders who are full-time employees of the university, and making sure the logistics and the setup and everything of that event takes place without a hitch. And then also having the students come out who, are at the university at the time and help do a lot of the heavy lifting, a lot of the moving of tables and setting up bleachers and cones and all kinds of stuff to make the event occur, because it is an event where there are 4 different egg hunts set up on the field, and we try and quarantine those accordingly, try to keep people out and away from the eggs until the event actually launches. So it's really been at a variety of different layers and levels. But I can't stress enough how important the students have really been to a lot of the things that we do throughout all of the different events. You know, they really show amazing leadership within the community and involvement. They're always very responsive to, kind of getting back to us, letting us know how many students they have so we can plan accordingly, and always come out in high volume, which is amazing because our events can't happen without them.
Sure. So what exactly is an egg extravaganza?
So it's a lot of eggs, I will tell you that.
How many eggs do you normally
get? In the earlier years of the event, and I'll say the peak years of the event rather, we were probably 40 to 50,000 eggs that scattered the field.
Wow.
So recognizing that, those are one-time use plastics, we've tried to cut those back, but not cut back the amount of things that people have an opportunity to get. So we then started trailing that number back by, I think we've kind of like taken away about 20,000 of what's there, but we've made up for it with different types of trinkets and toys, gift certificates, gift cards.
Yeah, so you guys got some big name prizes in there. So what have you guys put in the eggs over the years?
We've had Trek bicycles. We've had a lot of hefty gift cards from different businesses throughout the township for restaurants and toy stores and things of that nature. We've done gift and trinket baskets. We've had Villanova memorabilia, which of course, during the years of the championships were hot items. So really, it's not your typical egg hunt for candy and little trinkets and things of that manner. We do try to make sure that within each of the zones, each of the age group zones, that there are some really enticing prizes there that get people out.
That's great. And how many people usually come out from Radnor Township?
Over the years, we've had anywhere from 2,000 to 4,000, estimated, of course, to the best of our judgment. So it's really been popular. People are attracted to coming out to the stadium, especially with a lot of the recent improvements that have happened at the school. People want to come out and they want to see those things. A lot of it is things that entice them. They want to be part of the university and the campus, and getting to be on the turf field at the stadium is an amazing thing for children to be part of.
Yeah, and to have the mascot present, bouncy house, face painting. I know last year you guys had the nothing but cakes, which are the best. So it seems like it's a very fun day for, all families involved.
It is. People have really embraced it. Ironically, we've heard of people traveling far and wide to get there for that event. We've talked to some people at the event, and they say they're from Maryland and they drive here every year so that they can be part of it. So, we do hear a lot of people. I think there's some people on the Lower Marion side that kind of sneak in and try and be part of it too. We try to harness that a little bit just to, make sure that it's, geared more towards the Radnor residents and, try and encourage Radnor resident-based participation.
That's great. And you also hosted the Daddy-Daughter Dance this year at the Inn at Villanova just a couple weeks ago. So I heard we had a great turnout. Great reviews. How many folks did you have there for that?
So it was really quite a turnout. So we had 300 that we accommodated. In previous years of the event, we only accommodated about 150 to 200. And we've always had a very hearty wait list for this event. It's an event that sells out in 15 minutes.
Wow.
As a matter of fact,
and just
this year,
dads and daughters.
Just dads and daughters. I mean, we're open. Grandfathers also. If we have other situations where there's mother households exclusively, we definitely would welcome them to take part in the event too. It's a welcoming event to everyone. It's something that's been very, very highly regarded. I could say this year, among a lot of other years, people loved being at the Inn at Villanova. I think it's a place that people have always been intrigued by and maybe have never had an opportunity to go to.
Sure.
So we had actually sent out a survey after the event to see how people liked it, given that this was our new year and being there, and people really couldn't speak more highly about Villanova University and the presentation. We worked with your director of operations there, Kathy Welsh, and she was amazing to work with. All the staff that provided the food and the service that night and the support, help with the logistics. It really was a great relationship, which we were excited to embark on this year.
Oh, that's great. So also in terms of collaborating, again, I know I have worked closely with the commissioners on identifying service sites in the township for our big St. Thomas of Villanova Day of Service, where we have 5,000 volunteers out in the community. I believe this year we had about 20 sites in Radnor and Delaware County. And I myself was at the Willows and Skunk Hollow. So what does that mean for the township when you have students going out on a day, 50 at a time, and helping, clean up the Willows, clean up Skunk Hollow, going to Wayne Senior Center and working with those groups?
Well, not only is it a great service opportunity for the township to, receive some work and clean up, especially during times where, we're coming out of the winter season or during a storm season where there's a lot of debris and there's a lot of, things that need to be cleaned up. I think there was a painting project that might have taken place as well. Yeah. So, being in charge of a lot of different facilities spread throughout the township, when you can get that extra help. And then in addition to that, it's building that bond. There's a lot of township officials that participate in events like that, and township staff, to coordinate all of that. And it gives an opportunity to develop that bond together and have that recognition and that camaraderie in working together and knowing that, you're providing a great benefit for the quality of life of the residents.
Sure. I think it also helps for our students too, maybe they don't know that the Willows exists or Skunk Hollow, and they're able to now go there on the weekends and take a walk. But we had a lot of fun at the Willows Cottage. We were chipping away at the paint and repainting. So.
Amazing, and they did an amazing job on it too.
So town gown is a term that I hear often in my job, and what we've talked about so far are town gown relationship buildings. Is it common for universities and colleges to work with their municipalities that you know of, or is this something that Villanova and Radnor are doing sort of outside the norm?
I think it probably depends on where you are throughout the United States, but the one thing I will say is in this region, I feel like Villanova has been second to none in their level of outreach and their level of providing facilities, welcoming the township in. There's an agreement I know that exists with the township to use your sports facilities and your gym and your fitness center, which is something you don't hear about a lot.
Yeah.
And as far as locally, Villanova is the only university that we work to this level with, has been receptive in terms of this relationship. So I think it's more the exception than it is the norm.
Sure.
But I also think it shows a lot about Villanova University and its level of outreach and its leadership at Villanova, in getting those students out there and pushing them out there to be part of them, and their staff, as well, in working closely with the residents and working closely with, different township organizations and groups.
Yeah, I think this will be great for our viewers to see, because I'm sure a lot of people don't know that all of this collaboration is happening.
Absolutely. And as I had mentioned, I really can't stress enough how the success of our events really rely on a lot of the students and those ongoing relationships. And if there was, ever a day that those were to go away, those events would be greatly impacted.
Are there ways that you can see that we can partner further?
We can always come up with lots of new ideas. Yeah, I think we can talk about that offline.
Yeah,
I think there are lots of ways to work together. I know, the staff have had opportunities to utilize Villanova's resources for different things. In just, if it's anything just in terms of like some of their maintenance strategies and some of their operating strategies, I think there have been times where we have had those, cross-relationship discussions just to try and understand what the university is doing, things that could benefit us and vice versa. So I think there are lots of ways to continue those relationships.
Yeah. Have you been to the new restaurant yet on campus?
I have not, actually.
You need to get there. Yeah.
We'll make sure that happens. I'll make sure that there's a day that our department staff go over.
There's a great happy hour.
Awesome. Well, I don't know about that, but absolutely, I think that would be a great opportunity for us.
Okay, so last question. What other events are Radnor Township, what are you guys working on right now outside of what we've talked about?
So on an annual basis, the big ones for us are Wheels of Wayne. which happen in downtown Wayne. And as a matter of fact, sometimes Villanova University's engineering department has taken part in that with different vehicles that they've built over the years. So that's just another area where it's, you know, not one of the larger events that we've worked on, but another thing that Villanova has been, you know, partnership and working with us on. We're also gearing up for summer, so we have Radnor Day Camp that's going to be kicking off soon. That's a day camp that we run throughout the township for 6 weeks, where we have a couple hundred kids that take part at one of our school district facilities. That actually is its 79th year this year, so it's been a long-running tradition. We'll have the summer backyard camp out that'll happen at the Willows for the residents. We have a summer concert series that happens during the summer. So there's a lot of things that we do over the course of a year. You know, that's, you know, it's community event based. Some of them are the smaller events where, you know, it's daddy-daughter, where, you know, it might only be about 300 people, big event, you know, for its scale. But then there's also the larger community events like Wheels of Wayne, like Spring Extravaganza, or Fall Harvest, which is another big one that we do.
I can't believe how much you guys do.
There's a lot. There's a lot, but we've been able to develop some, you know, routine strategies and planning, and, you know, we rely on the different township departments. We rely on some of the institutions that help us. It really takes a village to make these things happen.
And where is the summer concert series? We'll just get a plug for that.
We have one that'll take place at Clemacrone Park, which is in, you know, the Villanova neighborhood, and that's an annual one that we do at the new band shell that was constructed there in 2017. And then we have another one that takes place in Wayne at Beauconner Park. They'll both be in July, which occur. So those are a lot of fun. We get a diverse crowd that comes out for those.
All right. Well, Tammy, thank you so much for being on the show today. Really enjoyed the conversation. I hope you know, many people at home will see this and see everything we're working on and what we're doing together. So I'd like to thank Tammy Cohen for being on today's show. She's one of the people making Radnor Township the most special place that it is. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out at neighbors@villanova.edu or visit www.radnor.com for more information.